Previously on the Mandeville Youth Profile.
I don't know if anybody remember when the Mandeville Temple opened, which year. Nobody's. No.
2012.
About 2012, somewhere there. Yeah, somewhere there.
Couple years after.
Right, couple years
So
after.
were you ministering in
The Falls Church, a little. Ordained minister. I used to be in the youth choir. I was very active in church, with music, with young people's meetings, that sort of thing. We used to have so many different activities. Some of those activities wasn't even called for, but we had so many activities in church back then. So the activities that we used to have, it sort of keep your focus. You do a lot in church. In terms of ministering, when you have like youth Sundays, so on few occasions I would do a little bit of the preaching. But I didn't consider myself to be one of those great preachers established. I wasn't ordained. But back then, I knew that there was something that was different in terms of when it comes down to the preaching. When it comes down to preaching, the little that I did then, how should I put it now? How should I put it? Just say I didn't do a whole lot, but I did a little bit back then when I was in the church. Based on what I used to preach, I would only preach what I know. You know. Now I know a whole lot more. I know a little then, but now I know a whole lot based on what I've been taught and what I'm learning. But I was exposed to preaching just on a smaller level, like when you have like youth Sundays, the young people time, they'd allow some of the young persons to give the message. Those were the occasions when I would give the message. But I always want to be in the background. I didn't want to be in the forefront. I always wanted to be not the one. I wouldn't mind if somebody else did the preaching. But I knew back then, though, that there was something different about how God was dealing with me. In the few times when I have an encounter with being in the pulpit and doing anything in church, I knew there was something different. We used to open church and just have prayer meeting and fast and pray. Even though we were in Fallswood, we would fast, we would pray, we would, encourage each other. Fasting service, we open the church and we just have even when it's not a scheduled church fasting, a few of us used to come together and we just fast and pray. I remember because Brother Andrew we were really close even back then, we used to just plan and go to church and we have a fasting time, we just fast and pray and seek God. And from back then, we realized that God was dealing with us differently. But I never used to be one that used to be loved to be in the forefront.
The spotlight.
No, I don't love the spotlight at all. So if there was somebody else, I'd rather them do it.
I think many of us can see that even today. All right, but my final question now, I like to always put this question out there so those that are watching and will be watching in future can benefit. There's a lot of us young people in holiness. Many times we come in holiness, getting the knowledge of the truth, all hype up. We run very, very fast, and sometimes hearing take your time to us can be confusing because we lack that experience of what the walk consists of really. So what would be your advice to, you know, all the young brothers and sisters in the church as to how they can approach this walk and how they can last?
One have to be patient with self, especially as a young person. Patience with self is very crucial. And when I say patience with self, I mean that you have to know that life have ups and downs. And being patient with self is when, even if you fall, you have to have enough patience to try again and keep going. Even when you get weak, you have to understand that holiness is not something that you sprint and get it done just one go. There are times when you fast and you pray and you feel like you're on cloud 9. And after that, you find like all of your cloud drop out. And you're back at ground zero. Patience with self, meaning that even when you feel at rock bottom, you're staying with the Lord and wait for God to pick you back up and for you to grow in God. Patient with self in the sense that it's not how fast you run, it's whether or not you endure to the end. So, to my young people, I would always encourage my young people to be patient. Never look at somebody else and how they are running and try to keep up with somebody else. Because not everybody have the same pace. You understand? Some person's pace differs. One moment, one person might seem like, man, they have most of it or all of it great, and you might feel like, man, I'm not even tipping the iceberg. The next, give it another year, you see, it can just flip. The person who seemed to be doing so well can just reach a stage now where they're struggling. So patience, when you feel like you're going on fine, don't get caught up in self in the moment. Having a high expectation of self is good, but when you have a high expectation of self in the sense that you will never fall, when you do fall, you find yourself struggling more to get back up because you have self-imposed a standard not even the scripture have on you. Because the scripture says, even the youth shall faint, and the young men shall utterly fall. So young people, getting it right should always be at your forefront of your mind. Living it right, but doing it with patience is far better because it teaches you through the experiences, it teaches you how to truly depend on God, and it teaches you how to wait on the Lord and how to endure. So, for the young people, patience.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. Well said. There's nothing I can add to that. You know, be patient, take your time. This is probably one of those videos that you need to rewatch and watch again. Truly, there's a lot that came out in this video that I have benefited from, and I'm sure you can all testify the same. Looking forward to see you in our next episode. Until then, blessings and peace.
In these troubled times, you must believe to stay alive. Send your roots down, anchored in the words of Jesus Christ. You can't be distracted by the many cares of life.